本がある、鳥がいる、私がいる。All of these mean there is or there are in English, but wait, what's the difference between ある and いる and how do we Japanese people differentiate them? Let's find out. What's up, Japan enthusiasts? 皆さんこんにちは. I'm Max. Welcome back to my channel where we dive into the world of Nihongo and Japanese culture. So today we're going to be looking at the difference between ある and いる and how we Japanese people differentiate ある and いる and how we actually use them properly. So first of all, ある and いる, they both mean to be or there is, there are. In English. So in English, it's just there are, there is something, there are some things. But in Japanese, we use ある for some things and いる for some things. So it's a little bit hard for Japanese learners to know when to use ある and when to use いる and what things go well with ある and not with いる. How do we Japanese people actually differentiate ある and いる? Well, there's actually a clear difference between ある and いる. And in short, okay, ある is for not living things. Not for living things, okay? For things that don't move, things that don't have life. And いる is for living things like human and animals. So for example, these are the words that we use ある for. スマホ smartphone スマホがある It's a thing that doesn't move, it doesn't live, it's not living alive, okay? So あるスマホがある and also this microphone マイクがあるメガネがある帽子がある服がある Those are all the things that don't live, that don't move. And also, of course, the camera, that's ある カメラがある Clouds, they move, but those are not living things. So clouds, 雲がある And the ground, 地面がある Okay, so you kind of get it. And also, ある is used for events and tasks. For example, if I have a meeting tomorrow at 2 p.m., then I would say 明日の午後2時に会議がある明日の午後2時に会議がある There's a meeting at 2 p.m. tomorrow. Or if you have like something to do tomorrow, like you have schedules and you are going out with your friends, you could say, 用事がある明日は用事がある For example, 明日はちょっと友達と用事があるから行けないよ Something like that, okay? Abstract things, they are ある too because they don't live. They are not living. They don't move. I mean, you can move them, but they don't move on their own. That's ある ある is for not living things, things that don't move, things that don't live. Also abstract things like events and tasks that you cannot see with your eyes. Those are all ある So next is いる, right? いる is for animals and human or living things in general. So 私がここにいるあなたがそこにいるあなたがスマホもしくはパソコンの前にいる And also 猫がいる犬がいるペットがいる Also of course 魚がいる Fish 鳥がいる All those things are living things So the difference between ある and いる it seems really easy but there are some exceptions or there are some times where the line between ある and いる is a little bit like vague or a little bit like tricky, you know? So I'm gonna talk about the exceptions or the vague line between ある and いる So even for things that have no life, we sometimes use いる for those words. For example, plants, in general, we use ある because you can say that they are alive. I mean, they're alive, they're growing and then they're changing their forms, but they do not move. They do not move on their own. So we almost always use ある for plants like 花、草、木, those things, plants. For some plants, specific plants, they might use いる お花がいるね。Why do some people sometimes use いる for 花、草, the plants? That's because they have like some kind of emotional connection to those things. They want to treat them as living things or as things that mean a lot to you. So what about viruses, ウイルス? Oh, technically speaking, viruses, they are not alive or they are not dead, right? So they are not living things. So we Japanese people usually, almost always, use ある. But at the same time, if you look at the viruses biologically, we can use いる. Especially in Osaka, I feel like we use いる more often than other Japanese people who are from other regions in Japan. Yeah, it's still a little bit vague. You can use ある, you can use いる, and they both sound totally alright to me. You can say ウイルスがいる, ウイルスが体の中にいる. If you use いる, that gives the feeling of the viruses actually living inside your body. But if you only say ウイルスが体の中にある, that sounds like the viruses are just there in your body and you don't think them as like living things like growing in your stomach. So viruses, bacteria and all those things, it is a little bit too complicated to go deeper into it. Well, if you have any questions like, oh, in this situation, what would you use? ある or いる, which would you use? Just leave a comment and I will try to answer you. Well, as much as I can. I might not be able to give you a clear answer to it, but yeah, I will try. So just leave a comment if you have any questions. And another exception is robots, ロボット. When they're like humanoids, robots with a like human body shape, okay? And they're moving around on their own, we would use いる, ロボットがいる. Because they're moving on their own and, you know, they're not alive, but we kind of treat them as living things sometimes. Then that's いる. But if you talk about the machines and stuff, machines and robots in like factories and like in businesses, then that's ある. So 機械がある. ロボットがこの工場には500台ある. But if you are talking about the robots that are like this, then ロボットがいる. ここに人型ロボットがいる. And going back to the topic of emotional connection, some people use いる for like Roombas. So those cleaning robots that go around in your room. Some people use いる for that. Well, because they have a personal connection or like emotional connection to them. So they use いる for Roombas. Robots, machines, you can use ある. And if you feel like they are living things or if you feel like you should use いる, then just use いる. I will talk about one more exception, and that is Pikachu. So Pikachu is a fictional character in Pokemon, right? When you talk about fictional characters or ghosts or gods, it depends on how you see them. If that's your favorite character, and again, if you have the emotional connection to them, then you would use いる. So ピカチュウがいる. ピカチュウがいる. If you believe in ghosts, you can say, 幽霊がいる. ここに幽霊がいる. 怖い. And also, gods, 神様. If you believe in gods and if you believe that gods are there, then you would say, 神様がいる. Okay, so that was a lot of information, but are you still following me? If it was a little bit too much information for you, then just pause the video or go back to the part that you didn't really understand and just pause it. Take your time to actually like process it and try to understand what I told you. We're gonna do a little bit of quizzes, okay? Quiz ある versus いる. I'm gonna show you some sentences and there will be a blank. And in that blank, you will use ある or いる. Number one. ここに猫が 猫 is a living thing. Yeah, 猫 is a living thing. So, ここに猫がいる. Alright, number two. カバンの中に本がある. カバンの中に本がある. Number 3. 友達が近くの公園にいる。友達が近くの公園にいる。Number 4. 明日は10時から予定がある。Yes, ある。So, 明日は10時から予定がある。So, number 5. この木に虫がいる。この木に虫がいる。And number 6. 今、財布にお金がある。Actually, 今、財布にお金はない。The last one is a little bit hard. 私には大好きなキャラクターがいる。私には大好きなキャラクターがいる。I have a favorite character, or like there's a character that I like a lot. And my favorite character is actually Snoopy. So, 私には大好きなキャラクターがいる。それはスヌーピーです。There's one more thing that you need to be careful of when you use the word いる can also mean to need. How do we even know if they are using いる as in to need or to be? Grammatically, there is a clear difference between to need いる and to be いる. But in this case, you just read the context.Alright, so that's it for today's video, and I bet you can use ある and いる properly now, correctly now. I understand it's hard and it takes time, and it's okay. It's okay to take your time. I really hope that this video helped you learn or understand how we Japanese people differentiate ある and いる when we talk about things like there are, to be. So I hope it helped you. And if you like this video, please hit the like and leave a comment below what you thought about the video. Or if you have any words or situations where you are not sure if you should use ある or いる, just leave a comment below. Let's have a discussion in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, Max Japanese, please subscribe and see you in the next one. Bye. 明日の2時に there's a bug on the lens. Well, you can't see, but there's a little bug on the lens. And that's actually いる. So, 虫がカメラのレンズにいた。今いた。